Hey everybody, this is Noah with Learn Meta Analysis, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the AI-assisted data extraction app, which I'm just going to call AIDE. I'm going to show you how to use this app with Mistral API keys so that you can extract data from PDFs for systematic review or meta-analysis using Mistral, and we can do this for free. So let's check this out. The first thing that we're going to do is start at the Mistral website, which is mistral.ai. Next, we're going to log in. So I have already created an account. So once I log in, it's going to bring me to a page like this. And so I want to clarify, I am using a fully free account. And so nothing I've done here costs any money as of the time this is recorded. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here on the left to API, and I'm going to click on API keys. Now, you can see here it's got a really nice orange button for create a new key. And when you do that, it's going to you're going to be able to create one. You can create either a free one or a paid one. As I said, I'm using this for research and things like that, so I am using a free version right now. And if you're not familiar with API keys, you'll want to keep your API key secure. You don't want to share that with other people because then other people will be able to use your account. You want to make sure that you are keeping your API key secure and private to you. So once you have this API key, just copy it, and I'm going to show you where to paste it into the app here in a minute. So here we are in the app, and we're going to go to the setup page. So from the setup page, at the very top, we have a number of different LLM methods, and for this video, we're focusing on Mistral AI. There's other videos that will walk you through how to use local models or how to use OpenRouter or how to use Google Gemini, but we're going to choose Mistral because that's what we're using in this video. So the first thing that you want to do is copy in your API key into the box and then click this validate key button. And when you click validate key, what it's going to do is it's going to ping their server and just make sure that the key is working. And if it is, you should see a green check mark. If it doesn't work, check and make sure that there's not an empty space at the end of your API key. Sometimes that can cause an error. All right, in terms of models, if you use the dropdown, you can see there's a number of different models available to you. I typically use Mistral Large Latest because it's free to use, at least as of now, and I've enjoyed using it so far. So the last important step is we want to make sure we click Save. Once we click Save, that's going to let the system know, yes, we are going to use Mistral for our analysis. Now, you might be wondering, where does this API key go when I save it? The API key, as of now, is currently saved on your user account on your computer. So anyone else logging in on the computer shouldn't have access to it. Only you should have access to it. Okay, so now let's look at the right side of the screen and check out the coding form. So I'm going to show you guys the coding form that we are going to use. This is just a simple Excel file, and as you can see, I have some data input in here already from my other videos. So what I really am going to highlight here is how this will function properly in that it's going to start recording on the first empty row that is here. So at the top of this, we have our prompts for the large language model. And in a typical coding form for a systematic review or meta-analysis, this would actually be where you usually just have like the title of whatever your variable is. But for our purposes, we are going to put the actual prompt that we want the LLM to analyze. So here we have list the authors of this paper in APA format. We have what is the main focus of this document, and then we give it some choices. We have what kind of review is this, and we give it some choices. We have what are the exclusion criteria. What are the implications for theory, and what are the implications for practice? And so I like to use these examples because they show a variety of different things that the LLM will have to do. First, it'll have to extract some data, the authors, and then reformat it into a specified format. Second, it's going to have to do two different categorization tasks. Third, it's going to have to report some information that's already in the paper. And last but not least, it has two prompts asking it to summarize the implications of something. So this is a summarization task. So you get to see a lot of different types of ways that LLMs can help you in this demo. So what should happen when we run this, what will happen when we run this, is we are going to end up recording our results on this first free line here, this first free row, row 4. So I'm going to close this, and I will show you what we mean. So I know I already hit save. I'm just going to hit save one more time, and I'm going to upload my coding form. So when I click browse, it's going to open on my other screen, and I'm just going to select the file. Then it's going to say, hey, where do you want to save the responses? And you should choose the same file. The pop-up for me actually typically shows up in my taskbar. So I'm going to click on that, and once I do, it opens in my other monitor. So I'm just going to select that same sheet, and then we're ready to go to the analysis page. So I'm going to click on analysis. And here you can see, I want to point out first that all of our prompts got pulled in on the right-hand side over here in the coding form. And I did not type in prompt 1, prompt 2, etc. Those things appear automatically, and then it'll autofill the text for you. So let's go ahead and select our file. If you've watched the other videos, you'll notice this is the same file that we used for our other demos. Okay, so after you upload your file, you're going to get a PDF context size estimate. So we have our estimated context size here of 20,000 tokens. Now, notably, Mistral Large 2 does have a 128,000 token context window. So I don't think in your typical meta-analysis or systematic review workflows you'll exceed that, but it is something to keep an eye on, especially compared to some of the Gemini models, which can handle millions of tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and click close here. We're going to analyze this PDF. Now, something I have noticed is that the Mistral API takes a little bit longer than the Gemini API to reply. But that said, it's still incredibly fast. This is all happening in real time. I am not cutting out any video or anything like that, so you'll see this should take probably less than 2 minutes to analyze our results here. And this is all much faster than we would be able to actually read this entire paper and then get all the information transcribed into the coding form. So it's really a pretty efficient process, and I've been pretty happy so far with all of the results that I've gotten from Mistral in my testing. And on that note, it's done, right? So we'll look over here and we can see that it does have the author list correct. Zhang, Jaldi, Schrader, Lopez, Gladstone, and Heidig. And when we look, that is exactly what we have here. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed about using the Mistral model is it does have, when there's, like you can see the accent over the O, it does include that. And I really enjoy that aspect of using this model. So when I hit source, this is one area where I have found Mistral to be a little bit weaker than Gemini in how it reports the source. And I think this is likely due to the prompt that I'm using, and I'll work on refining this over time. But for now, I found that it gives us enough information to be useful. So it is citing the actual citation information of the paper right here. So then we'll go down and we'll say, what is the main focus of this document? It says pedagogical agents. Why? And it's going off the title of the document itself. Okay. So I forgot to hit record. If you don't hit record, it's not actually going to record this into your coding form. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record on the first two since I've looked at those. And you can see in the bottom right, it does confirm that that was done. So when I ask what type of review this is, it says systematic review. I click source, and it's actually choosing specific information, and it's going to zoom in the PDF, as you saw, to closer in the document to where the information is. So you'll see it says, we report our systematic review following the Prisma guidelines. And so that's why it's choosing it's a systematic review, which is a really great method. So I'm going to click record. What are the exclusion criteria? Now, this is one that was actually hard for a lot of large language models in my testing, but when I click source, it says studies were excluded if, and it gives us the list of things. It brought us closer to it in the document, and it is here right about the next page, actually, because what we're doing is we're sending a structured text to the large language model. We're not actually sending the entire PDF. We're extracting the text, and so these images aren't actually getting sent, which is why it thinks it's on a different page, I think. So the exclusion criteria are listed here. These look correct. I'm not going to go through and look at every single one right now, but what I'm going to actually do is say, let's pretend these were wrong, because the whole purpose of this being human in the loop is that you can change it if the LLM is wrong. So all you have to do is erase this, and we can just say, exclusion, we'll say Mistral is a really fun LLM. And I'm just going to record that so that you guys can see that when you change it, it does actually change what's recorded in the coding form. And I did hit the record button as well. So what are the implications for theory? They have some great information here. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume it is correct. I'm not going to go through it, but in real life, we would actually go through and check it. But you can see it gives us a nice little summary. And when we clicked source, it gave us some information, and it jumped down to closer to the appropriate page. Similar, so I'm going to record that. Similarly, when we ask for the implications for practice, it gives us a nice little summary. When I click source, it gives us the source information, and it jumps to the page, which is actually on the same page as the previous, and we can click record. Okay, so now you may be wondering, did this actually put this information into our coding form? So I'm going to open up that coding form real quick, and I'm going to show you. It is right here on line 4, and keep in mind, for the exclusion criteria item, I typed in Mistral is a really fun LLM. So it did record that as well, which is wonderful. So we can see this works. And hopefully you've looked at this and you're like, man, that was so easy. That was so great. Now, your next question is probably something to the effect of, how do I get to the next paper? Like if I upload a new paper, will it move to the next line automatically? The answer is yes. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm just going to navigate and upload a new paper. It's actually going to be the same paper we just did, but it'll still work. Okay, so it gives us a context estimate again, and it clears out all those answers that were over here on the right side. Notably, they are still recorded in our coding form, right? It would be silly if it erased it from our coding form, but all that information is still in our coding form. So here we have this. If you click the Analyze button, it's going to analyze it just like it did before. But for the purposes of this, I really want to show you guys that it will record this information onto a new line. So I'm just going to put study 2. Actually, no, I already have something in there that says study 2. So I'm going to say study example 2. And I'm just going to copy paste this into all the boxes just for fun so that I can show you guys how this works. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to click record on each one of these individual items so that it records to our coding form. And now I'm going to open up the coding form one last time. And as you can see, it did record this here, study example 2 on line 5. So that's basically what the workflow is if you want to use the Mistral API. Is we get an API key, we go through our setup process, we upload our PDF file, we hit analyze, it's going to analyze everything for us, and then we can go through and double check the results. If the results are inaccurate, we just simply change them, and then we click the record button. So I hope you guys have found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please leave a comment in the chat. If you want to see different LLMs integrated into this, please go ahead and leave a comment. I really hope that this new software tool, AIDE, really helps you guys speed up your systematic review and meta-analysis process. I am super looking forward to actually using this in my own workflows. Now that I've created it, I'm like really excited to get into my next review and actually use it because I think it's going to greatly accelerate how quickly we can extract data from studies. So please feel free to let me know if you have any comments. If you like these kind of tools and you find this helpful, please like and subscribe to help support the channel. I really appreciate it. If you like these tools and you have other friends who do systematic review and meta-analysis, please feel free to let them know as well. I really want to make these tools as widely accessible as possible. They're I don't think I mentioned in this video, but I mentioned in plenty of other videos. This software is fully for free. AIDE is available for free on GitHub. It's really easy to install in RStudio. But if you run into any challenges or anything, just let me know. Leave me a comment and I will do my best to help sort out what's going on. But that said, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you find this new tool really helpful in your research synthesis workflows. Have a great afternoon. I look forward to talking with you guys in the next video. Thank you.